think I'm doing a mortgage for a guy that invented a pipe. This guy calls me up, explains to me he wants to sell and buy a house. I was like, okay, it's a pretty normal call at this point. I said, where's the house you want to sell? And he tells me, so what do you owe on it? He says he owes about 500. I said, okay. How much are you going to sell it for? Explains to me he's going to sell it for about 800. I said, okay. And so you're going to net between 250 and 3? He goes, yeah. I said, what do you want to buy it for? He tells me he wants to buy for between 1.3 and 1.5. It's going to be a house on the water. And I don't mean on the ocean. I mean on a large bay area. I was like, okay, and you're going to put 200, 250 down? He goes, yeah. Your credit's good. Yep. He has some savings. He had pretty good amount of savings, but he explains he just wants to roll the equity from the one house to the other house. So at this point, everything's going pretty normally. I said, what's your income? He tells me his income's about 90 grand. I was like, well, 90 grand, that's going to be, a $1.2 million loan. That's not going to be enough income. I was like, does your wife work? He goes, no. He says, but I know I can make the payment because of the money I get from my royalties. I was like, your royalties? He goes, yeah. I said, what, did you write a book or something? He goes, no, it's an invention that I have. I said, you invented something? He goes, yeah. I said, what did you invent? And he goes on to explain to me about irrigation and runoff and this, that, and the other thing. And as he's talking to me, I said, what's it called? And I'm Googling it as he talks to me. And so I'm looking online. As best as I can tell, it's a pipe. And I said, so what's the deal? He goes, well, I have about 7 more years left on this, and I make about $200,000 a year. I work in the water distribution area when it comes to irrigation, and I invented this, and we patented it, and now it's used all over the country for runoff water. And I'm looking at this thing, and I swear to God, it's a pipe. I mean, as best as I can tell, it's a big pipe. It's like a 20-inch pipe. I was like, okay, does this income come to you? Do you get 1099s for this income? He goes, yeah, every year. Okay, well, you have your job making $95,000 a year. You get a couple hundred grand from this pipe royalty. It's going to go on for 7 years. Do the application. I think you're good to go. Guy invented a pipe.